2 a.m., empty office building. A janitor's mop bucket sits in the hallway. But Donovan Merrick isn't mopping right now. He's staring at a computer screen, his hands trembling. 1 decimal point. That's all it takes to destroy a billion-dollar company and erase 5,000 paychecks by sunrise, including his own. He reaches for his phone, knowing this single call will change everything. But 5 years ago, he was the one who made the mistake. The one who lost it all. His wife, his career, his daughter's chance at life. Now, he holds someone else's future in his hands. Does he walk away? Or does he save the people who watched him fall? The fluorescent lights of Brennan Industries hummed their lonely 2 a.m. song. Most people see a janitor and look right through them, like they're part of the furniture. Invisible. Forgettable. But Donovan Merrick wasn't always invisible. 5 years ago, he wore $1,000 suits and made decisions that moved millions. He was the VP of finance at this very company. The man everyone respected. The father who promised his little girl Ruby that everything would be okay. That was before one desperate decision destroyed everything. Now, at 38 years old, he pushed a mop through the same halls where he once commanded boardrooms. Same building. Different world. But tonight, the past and present were about to collide in the most unexpected way. Donovan pushed his cleaning cart past the executive offices on the 7th floor. The wheels squeaked softly against the polished marble, sound he'd grown to hate because it reminded him how far he'd fallen. These were the offices he used to visit for morning coffee and strategy sessions. Now, he visited them with a spray bottle and paper towels. The CFO's office door stood slightly ajar, light spilling into the hallway. Strange. Marcus Webb never worked this late. Donovan hesitated. His job was simple. Clean and stay invisible. Don't touch anything important. Don't ask questions. Don't remind people that the janitor used to be someone. But something made him pause. Maybe it was the exhaustion from working. Double shifts to pay for rubies. Medications. Maybe it was the memory of his own late nights in an office just like this one. Fighting to keep numbers aligned and investors happy. Or maybe it was just curiosity. He knocked softly. No answer. Maintenance, he called out, using the word that had replaced his real title. No response. Donovan pushed the door open wider. The office was empty, but Marcus's computer screen glowed bright in the darkness. On it, a spreadsheet filled with numbers, lots of numbers. The kind of numbers that made or broke companies. He should leave. This wasn't his world anymore. But then his eyes caught something. Years of finance training don't just disappear. Even when you're holding a mop instead of a pen. The numbers on that screen were wrong. Very wrong. Donovan stepped closer, his heart beginning to pound. It was a wire transfer authorization. $65 million going out to Brennan Industries. Largest supplier for a quarterly materials payment. But the decimal point. His breath caught in his throat. The decimal point was one place off. Not $6.5 million. $65 million. 10 times the actual amount. His mind raced through the implications. Brennan Industries had been struggling this quarter. Everyone knew it, even the janitors. They'd already laid off 200 people last month. The company's cash reserves were tight, very tight. A mistake like this wouldn't just hurt the company, it would kill it. The transfer was scheduled for 6 a.m. less than 4 hours away. Once that money left the account, getting it back would take weeks, maybe months of legal battles. By then, payroll would bounce. Vendors wouldn't get paid. The company would spiral into bankruptcy. 5,000 people would lose their jobs by lunchtime, including him. More importantly, including his health insurance. The insurance that paid for Ruby's heart medication. The medication that kept his 9-year-old daughter alive. While they waited for a transplant that might never come, Donovan's hands shook as he gripped the edge of the desk. He could just walk away. Finish his shift. Pretend he never saw this. It wasn't his problem anymore. He'd paid his dues. He'd lost everything trying to be the hero once before. But 5,000 families. Donovan pulled out his phone and stared at it. 5 years ago, he'd made a different call. A desperate call. Ruby had been 4 years old. Her tiny body fighting a heart defect that doctors said required immediate surgery. The operation cost $180,000. And his insurers had denied the claim. Calling it experimental. He'd appealed. He'd begged. He'd filed every form in existence. Nothing worked. His wife Sarah had looked at him with those desperate eyes. Do something, Donovan. You're the VP of Finance. You make things happen. Make this happen. So he did. He'd borrowed money from the company's discretionary fund just temporarily, he told himself. Just until the insurance appeal went through. He'd pay it back in 2 weeks. No one would ever know, but someone did know. An audit caught the discrepancy. By the time he tried to explain, tried to return the money, the board had already made their decision. Theft, breach of fiduciary duty, criminal charges pending. The news had spread through the industry like wildfire. Donovan Merrick, once the rising star of corporate finance, had stolen from his own company. No one wanted to hear about sick daughters or denied insurance claims. They just saw a thief in an expensive suit. Sarah couldn't handle the shame. She'd left within a month, taking Ruby with her. The divorce papers cited moral breakdown, an inability to provide stable environment. The criminal charges were eventually dropped after he paid restitution out every penny of his savings, but his career was finished. His marriage was finished. His reputation was dust. He'd lost his daughter over $180,000. Now, in someone else's mistake, he saw 5,000 people about to lose everything over $65 million. The irony wasn't lost on him. Donovan looked at his phone again. He had 3 options. Option 1. Walk away. Finish mopping the floor. Go home to his tiny apartment. Pretend he never saw anything. By the time anyone discovered the mistake tomorrow, it would be too late. The company would collapse, but it wouldn't be his fault. He'd survived one fall. He could survive another. Option 2. Leave an anonymous note. Slip a piece of paper under Marcus's door. Check the wire transfer. Keep his head down. Stay invisible. Maybe they'd find it in time. Maybe they wouldn't. Option 3. Make the call. Step back into the world that had destroyed him. Admit that Donovan Merrick, the disgraced ex-VP turned janitor, was about to tell the CFO how to do his job. The risk was real. Marcus Webb had been on the board that voted to fire him. Marcus had sat across from him in that final meeting and called him a disgrace to the profession. Marcus had made sure everyone in the industry knew Donovan's name for all the wrong reasons. If Donovan called him now, Marcus might laugh, might accuse him of trying to sabotage the company, might have him fired just for being in the office after hours. Or worse, Marcus might think this was another scheme, another desperate play by a desperate man. But Donovan looked at that screen, at those numbers, and he thought about all those people sleeping peacefully in their homes right now, not knowing that their lives were about to implode. He thought about the young analysts who reminded him of his younger self, hungry and ambitious and full of dreams. He thought about the other janitors on his shiferia, who was putting 3 kids through college, and James, who was saving for his daughter's wedding. He thought about Ruby, who still called him every Wednesday evening, even though Sarah had moved them 3 states away. Ruby, who told him about her school projects and her friends, and asked when she could come visit, even though they both knew the answer was when we can afford it. What kind of man would he be if he walked away? What kind of father? He'd already failed once. He'd broken the rules trying to save one little girl, and it had cost him everything. But this time, following the rules, doing the right thing could save thousands. Donovan took a deep breath and dialed Marcus Webb's cell phone number. The same number he'd called 100 times back when they were colleagues. Back when Marcus had answered with "Talk to me, Donovan," instead of "Who is this?" The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Maybe Marcus wouldn't answer. Maybe this decision would be made for him. But on the 4th ring, a groggy voice came through. "This better be important. It's 2 in the morning." Donovan's mouth went dry. For a moment, he couldn't speak. "Hello, if this is a robocall, I swear." "Marcus, it's Donovan Merrick." Silence. Long, cold silence. Then, "How did you get this number? What do you want?" The hostility in Marcus's voice was like a physical blow, but Donovan pushed through it. "I'm at the office. I'm working the night cleaning shift. Your computer was on, and I saw the wire transfer authorization on your screen. Your WHAT. Marcus's voice exploded through the phone. "You're going through my computer. I'm calling security right now. I'm calling the police. You're finished, Merrick. I don't know what game you're—" "The decimal point is wrong," Donovan shouted, interrupting. "The transfer to Apex Materials. You're sending $65 million instead of $6.5 million. Marcus, I know you hate me. I know you want me gone. But please, Just check the file. It's scheduled to go through in 4 hours. If that money leaves the account, this company is finished. Silence again. But this time it was different. This time, Donovan could hear the sound of Marcus moving, probably reaching for his laptop. What file? Marcus's voice was tight now, suspicious but no longer enraged. Transfer authorization to 847B. Apex Materials quarterly payment. Check the amount. Donovan heard typing. Then he heard Marcus's breathing change. Faster, sharper. Oh my God. Those 3 words told Donovan everything. Marcus saw it. The mistake was real. I approved this yesterday. I was rushing. Board meeting in 10 minutes. I glanced at it and signed off. Oh my God. Marcus's voice cracked. Donovan, if this had gone through, 5,000 jobs. Donovan said quietly. Gone by lunchtime. I know. More typing. Frantic now. I need to cancel this transfer. I need to call the bank. I need to. Marcus paused. Why did you call me? You could have let this happen. After what we did to you, what I did to you, you had every reason to walk away. Donovan looked around the empty office. At the mop bucket in the hallway. At his reflection, in the dark window, a tired man in a janitor's uniform. Nothing like the sharp executive he used to be. Because it's not about me, Donovan said. It never was. It's about doing the right thing, even when it costs you everything. He heard Marcus take a shaky breath. Stay there, Marcus said. Don't move. I'm 20 minutes away. We need to fix this, and I need to talk to you. The call ended. Donovan stood in the silent office, his heart pounding. He'd done it. He'd made the call. Now, he just had to wait and see if saving the company would cost him his job anyway. Marcus Webb burst through the office door 18 minutes later, his hair messy, his shirt untucked, his eyes wild. He wasn't alone. Behind him came Jennifer Cole, the CEO, and David Park, the head of security. Donovan's stomach dropped. Security, that's him, David said, moving toward Donovan. Sir, you need to come with me. Wait. Marcus held up a hand. Just wait. Jennifer looked at Donovan, then at Marcus, then at the computer screen. Someone explained to me why I'm here at 2:30 in the morning. Marcus moved to his computer and pulled up the wire transfer file. This payment was supposed to go out at 6 a.m. $6.5 million to Apex Materials. But look at the amount I actually approved. Jennifer leaned in. Her face went pale. That's $65 million, which we don't have, Marcus said. We have $72 million in liquid reserves. After payroll next week, and our credit line payment, we'll have about $8 million to operate on. If this transfer had gone through, we'd have been $57 million overdrawn by morning. Jennifer closed her eyes. The board would have forced Chapter 11 by noon. Everyone loses their jobs. Everyone, Marcus said, including us. David still had his hand on Donovan's arm. So what was he doing in your office, Marcus? Marcus looked at Donovan for a long moment. Saving the company. He's a janitor, David said. Why was he looking at your computer? Because I'm not just a janitor, Donovan said quietly. I used to be the VP of Finance here. I know what those numbers mean. I saw the mistake, and I called Marcus. Jennifer's eyes widened. Donovan Merrick. I remember you. You were fired for borrowing company money to pay for my daughter's surgery. Donovan finished. I know what I did. I paid it back. I served my punishment. But that doesn't change what I saw tonight. And it doesn't change what would have happened if I'd stayed silent. David looked at Marcus. You want me to escort him out? No, Marcus said firmly. I want you to let him go. Jennifer studied Donovan carefully. You could have walked away. You could have let this company burn. After what happened to you, I wouldn't have blamed you. Donovan met her gaze. I've spent 5 years thinking about the choice I made. I broke the rules to save my daughter. I don't regret trying to save her, but I regret how I did it. Tonight, I had a chance to make a different choice. To save people the right way. I couldn't live with myself if I'd walked past that screen and done nothing. Jennifer glanced at Marcus, then back to Donovan. The mistake is cancelled. Transfer stopped. Bank notified. It never left the account, Marcus confirmed. Then we have a problem, Jennifer said, because according to our current policies, Mr. Merrick violated protocol by accessing a computer that wasn't assigned to him, and Viewing confidential financial information. Donovan's heart sank. Of course, even saving the company couldn't erase the rules he'd technically broken. Fire me if you need to, Donovan said. I understand, I couldn't let 5,000 people lose everything because of a decimal point. Not when I could do something about it. Jennifer shook her head. I'm not firing you, Mr. Merrick. I'm promoting you. The room went silent. What? Donovan whispered. We have an opening in the financial oversight department, Jennifer said. Entry-level analyst position. It pays $62,000 a year. It's not what you used to make, but it's a start. Someone with your eye for detail, your knowledge of financial systems, and your integrity. That's exactly what we need. Donovan felt his knees go weak. I don't understand. I have a criminal record. You're someone who did the wrong thing for the right reason, paid for it, and then chose to do the right thing, even when it could have cost you everything. Jennifer said, that's the kind of person I want in this company. Marcus stepped forward. I owe you an apology, Donovan. When you were fired, I said terrible things. I never asked about your daughter. I never considered what you were going through. I just saw the numbers and the rules, and I condemned you. Tonight, you saved my career, my reputation, and probably my freedom. That transfer would have ended me, but you made the call anyway. Your daughter, Jennifer asked quietly. How is she? Donovan's voice cracked. She's waiting for a heart transplant. The medication keeps her stable, but it's expensive. I can barely afford it on my janitor's salary. I haven't seen her in 6 months, because I can't afford the plane ticket to where my ex-wife moved. Jennifer nodded. The analyst position comes with full medical benefits, premium coverage, and it includes a $5,000 signing bonus. She paused. That should cover a plane ticket and then some. Donovan couldn't stop the tears. 5 years of carrying the weight of his mistake. 5 years of shame and struggle, and separation from his daughter. And now this woman, this CEO, of the company that had destroyed him, was offering him a second chance. I don't know what to say, he whispered. Say yes, Marcus said. Say you'll take the job. Say you'll help us make sure mistakes like mine never happen again. Donovan looked at the three of them. At the computer screen with the corrected numbers. At his reflection, in the windowsill, in his janitor's uniform. But somehow, standing a little taller. Yes, he said. Yes, I'll take it. The sun rose over Brennan Industries at 6:47, and the wire transfer that would have destroyed the company never went through. Marcus Webb sent a company-wide email, praising an alert employee who caught a critical error, without naming Donovan. Privacy, dignity, a quiet save. But word spread anyway. It always does in an office. By noon, everyone knew that the janitor from the night shift had saved their jobs. By afternoon, they knew he used to be VP of Finance. By the time Donovan arrived for his first day as a financial analyst, the following Monday, he walked into spontaneous applause. Maria, his fellow janitor, hugged him with tears in her eyes. My kids get to stay in college because of you. James shook his hand. My daughter gets her wedding, thank you. Donovan smiled, uncomfortable with the attention, but grateful for the kindness. His first call from his new desk phone was to Sarah. Hello. Her voice was cautious. She probably didn't recognize the number. Sarah, it's me. I have news. He told her everything. The mistake, the call, the job, the insurance. There was a long silence. Donovan, she said finally, her voice thick with emotion. You did the right thing. I'm trying to, he said. I'm trying to be the man Ruby deserves as a father. Speaking of which, with the signing bonus, I can buy plane tickets. I'd like to come see her. Both of you, if that's okay. She asks about you every day, Sarah said softly. She'd love that. This weekend. When Donovan hung up, Marcus appeared at his cubicle. Settling in. Getting there, Donovan said. Still feels surreal. Marcus leaned against the cubicle wall. I've been thinking about what you said. About doing the right thing even when it costs everything. I want you to know something, Donovan. 5 years ago, when we fired you, we did it by the book. We followed every protocol. We crossed every T and dotted every I. We were absolutely, completely, legally correct. I know, Donovan said, but we were wrong. Marcus continued. Being right isn't the same as being just. I should have fought for you. Should have found a way to help you, and Ruby. Should have looked at the man Not just the mistake. I'm sorry it took 5 years and almost losing everything for me to understand that. We all make mistakes, Donovan said. The question is what we do after. Marcus smiled. Build something better, I hope. Ruby Merrick was 9 years old. With her father's eyes and her mother's stubborn determination, she'd been waiting for a heart transplant for 4 years. The odds were long. The wait was brutal. But she'd learned to find joy in the small things. Video calls with her dad, drawing pictures of their favorite memories, counting down the days until his visits. Today was special. Today, her dad was taking her to the park, their park, the one they used to visit every Sunday before everything fell apart. Donovan pushed her wheelchair along the path, talking about his new job, his new apartment bigger than the old one, with a second bedroom, for when she could visit, his new life. Dad, Ruby said suddenly, why did you save those people at your company? Donovan stopped walking. What do you mean, sweetheart? Mom told me what happened. You could have let the company fail. They fired you. They were mean to you. But you saved them anyway. Why? Donovan knelt beside her wheelchair. Because it wasn't about them, Ruby. It was about all the other kids like you. Kids whose parents work at that company. Kids whose parents need those jobs to pay for medicine, and food and homes. If I'd walked away, those kids would have suffered. And I couldn't do that to them. Ruby thought about this, even though it was scary. Especially because it was scary. Doing the right thing isn't hard when it's easy. It's hard when it costs you something. When it makes you afraid. But that's when it matters most. Like when you tried to save me, Ruby said quietly. You got in trouble trying to help me. Donovan felt his throat tighten. I made mistakes, baby girl. I did the wrong thing for the right reason. This time, I got to do the right thing the right way. Ruby reached out and took his hand. I'm proud of you, Dad. Those 5 words healed something in Donovan's chest that had been broken for 5 years. His phone rang. Unknown number. Donovan Merrick, he answered. Mr. Merrick, this is Dr. Patterson from City General Hospital. I'm calling about Ruby. We have a heart. The world stopped. What? Donovan's voice barely worked. A donor match came through an hour ago. We need Ruby here within 4 hours for prep. This is time sensitive, Mr. Merrick. Can you get her here? Donovan looked at his daughter, at her hopeful face, at the life she deserved and had been denied for so long. We'll be there in 30 minutes. The surgery took 11 hours. Sarah arrived halfway through, and she and Donovan waited together in silence, their past grievances meaningless in the face of their daughter's future. Marcus and Jennifer showed up at hour 7 with coffee and food. We heard, Marcus said simply. We wanted to be here. When Dr. Patterson finally emerged at 2 a.m., her mask was down and she was smiling. The surgery was a complete success. Ruby's new heart is beating strong. She's going to be okay. Donovan collapsed into Sarah, and they both wept. 5 years of fear. 5 years of waiting. 5 years of maybe tomorrow finally ending in today. The Brennan Industries annual report featured a new section that year, Ethics in Action Award. The first recipient was Donovan Merrick, now a senior analyst and the head of the company's Financial Oversight Committee. Jennifer presented the award at the company's holiday party. Last year, one of our employees faced an impossible choice. He could have walked away. He could have chosen revenge over redemption. Instead, he chose integrity. He chose to save 5,000 jobs. Even though this company had once failed him, his choice didn't just save our balance sheet. It reminded us who we want to be. The room erupted in applause. Donovan stood at the microphone, the crystal award heavy in his hands. Ruby sat in the front row, no longer in a wheelchair, her new heart beating strong and steady. Thank you, Donovan said, but I didn't do anything special. I just made a phone call. The real heroes are the 5,000 people who come to work every day and do their jobs with integrity. The real heroes are the families who support them. The real heroes are the second chances we give each other when we fall. He paused. 5 years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I broke the rules trying to save someone I loved. This company punished me for it, and I deserved that punishment. But what I learned is that our mistakes don't define us. What defines us is what we do after we fall. Do we stay down? Do we become bitter? Or do we get up, dust ourselves off, and look for the next opportunity to do better? Donovan looked at Ruby, then at Sarah, then at Marcus and Jennifer. A wise man once told me that being right isn't the same as being just. This company taught me that lesson the hard way, but they also taught me that redemption is real, that second chances matter, that sometimes, the person you save is yourself. The applause lasted for 3 minutes. Later, as Donovan drove Ruby home to their home, the one with 2 bedrooms and a backyard, where Sheikah plays daughter, asked him a question. Dad, if you could go back and change what happened 5 years ago, would you? Donovan thought about it. About the pain and shame and loss. About the 5 years, pushing a mop through offices where he used to command respect. About the nights wondering if he'd ever see his daughter grow up. No, he said finally. Because all of that led to this. To you being healthy. To me being the man I needed to become. To understanding that falling doesn't mean failing. Sometimes, you have to lose everything to learn what really matters. Ruby smiled. What really matters? Doing the right thing, even when it's hard. Choosing integrity over revenge. And never, ever walking past a mistake, when you have the power to fix it. Even if it costs you everything. Especially then. So remember, the next time you face an impossible choice, the next time you have to decide between taking the easy path and doing the right thing, think about Donovan Merrick. Think about the janitor who saved 5,000 jobs with one phone call. Think about the man who chose redemption over revenge. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is make the hard choice when no one is watching. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more incredible true stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And share this with someone who needs to hear that second chances are real, that redemption is possible, and that doing the right thing always matters even when it costs you everything. The question isn't whether you'll fall. We all fall. The question is, what will you do when you get the chance to rise? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.